Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. I think, yes, it is. Okay, my community service announcement for today. Several things that are important that I need to get off my chest. I'll leave the most important till last, but it's something that a lot of you have been looking forward to. So it's worth sticking around for. Anyway, the first one being Australia Day coming up in 6 days on the 26th of January. Now, what a lot of most people don't know is what Australia Day really is. Most people think that it's a day that we pick up our blue Australian flag and be proud of Australia or being part of Australia. But that's not really the case, because the blue Australian flag is an Admiralty flag. And what's more, it shouldn't be flown on land. And one more interesting point that I really should point out is that it is unlawful for the people of the Commonwealth of Australia to fly that blue flag, because several reasons. One, it's an Admiralty flag and it shouldn't be flown on land. But the most important one is that it's not your real flag. It belongs to your occupier, your military occupier. Now, Australia 26th, that is an anniversary, but it's, like I said, it's not what we think. What it's actually commemorative of is our occupation. That's why I like to call it Occupation Day. That day marks the anniversary of our military occupation becoming lawfully in effect. That was the 26th of January 1910. Sorry. That is when the Hague 4 Treaty from the Hague Conventions of 1907 was signed by King George V, putting us officially under military occupation under that treaty. Now, that was the official date, but our real occupation began in 1908. So if you want to be loyal to your country, you should be flying this flag. That's our federal red ensign. And I've gone into this before. Sorry, it's back to front. I've gone into this before. That's not the Star of David on there. That's a six-pointed Federation star. It does have biblical implications, but it's certainly not the Star of David. And the main one is, the dimensions of this flag is 3:2. So 3 across, 1 to down, so it might be 1.5 by 1 metres, or 3 metres by 2 metres, or your little hand waver, which might be 300 by 200 mil. But that's the proper dimension for a land flag. And that is how you can recognise a land flag, by the dimensions. That being said, it's also how you recognise an Admiralty flag, because Admiralty flags are 2:1, just like the blue Australian flag. Or it could be 5:3. That's also Admiralty. So anyway, that's the first thing out of the way. The second one, there's been some chatter going around that the flag is really not that important. But let me tell you why it's important. Because by me flying this flag, I'm showing everybody else that's flying this flag that I'm in allegiance with them. And I support them. And I share the same ideals and the same goal. Same goal. Now, a national flag, not that national is the right word, but a people's flag, it represents unity and togetherness and where your allegiance lays. So you have a choice. You can, fly the blue flag and show that you're in allegiance to the Australian government, or you can fly our federal red ensign with a six-pointed star and show that you're in allegiance with me. Therefore, I'll defend you, and I'd like you to defend me as well. But hopefully there'll be a lot of us defending each other. That's the goal, anyway. Now, last but not least, what I've been up to for, well, quite a while now, but it's been quite intense over the last few days. I've even been putting together a website. But anyway, I should point out that I'm not working alone or acting alone. There's actually a group of us. And we're dedicated, very dedicated, to restoring the people to their Commonwealth. And we give up a lot of our time, In fact, even when I'm working, you can see that I'm still doing something. So you could say I'm doing something 16 to 18 hours a day every day. Last night I only got 2 hours sleep because I was on that computer till 5 a.m. And then it took me a while to get to sleep. But anyway, it shows you my dedication. And the other people that I work with, their dedication is no less. So we are committed to what we're doing. So therefore, we've put together what you need to change your allegiance. And I'm not talking about just in a blasé sense. I mean full-blown change your allegiance back to the Commonwealth of Australia. Now, it's a little bit of a process, and I'm not going to get into it now because I don't want to give away what we're doing to other people that are trying to do similar but only have their best interests at heart. Now, some people are charging as much as $600 to help them go through a process of putting them into no man's land, and that's a reversion process. That doesn't actually ground you to solid ground, legally, lawfully. But the process that we've put together will put you on solid ground, because not many people of you are capable of being on solid ground. Now, I mean that in a biblical sense. So we have put this together, but it's not going to be cheap. But we're really torn, actually, because we think this should be free. It really should be. But there are things that we need to put in place that are going to cost some money. And unfortunately, if you relied on us to raise the money, it might take us a little while because we're all hurting one way or another. Every single one of us, every single Australian that's not corrupt is hurting in one way or another, and some are hurting a lot more than others. So we really don't want to charge anybody for doing this. But that being said, like I said, there are things that we need to put in place and do to make all of this a possibility. And it is going to cost a little bit of coin. So we're just going to ask you for one coin. But it's a silver coin. $1. $1 Australian dollar. $1 real Australian dollar. Not this fiat currency crap that the government expects us to believe is money and worth something. So it's only going to cost you $1, which is about $25. But for anybody that can show that they really can't afford it, we'll probably waive that. But we do need some money to get this thing up and running. And again, I'm not going to give away any secrets because I don't want people to know what we're doing, and I don't want people to copy us and take advantage of you, because that's not what we're about. We want the people back in the Commonwealth, and then we can all enjoy our Commonwealth, and we can tell this foreign occupier to eventually get lost. So we need a minimum amount of people to make this viable so that we can actually do what we need to do. So therefore, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you to register your interest by sending us an email at Kingdom of Australia, one word, with the numeral 1 at the end of it, then at gmail.com. So that's Kingdom of Australia 1, the numeral, at gmail.com. So register your interest there. And if we do get enough interest, and I'm pretty sure we will, because I've had a lot of interest and a lot of emails and a lot of messages of more than enough people to get this up and running and to put you back into your proper jurisdiction. Now, I will have to point out that there are some pitfalls that we have to make you aware of so you don't fall into those traps. And then there is a little bit of a knowledge that we will help you with. But it'll be a continual learning, at least until you get to my level or close to my level. And then if you want to go above that and do more for your Commonwealth, like maybe be a King's Council or a senator or a people's representative, then you might need to know a little bit more. But just so that people are aware, we are calling for a dissolve of this Australian government by the Governor-General, because they're not our government. But we certainly won't be letting them put another government in place. The only government that will be replacing them is a government of us, the people. No politician types. In fact, anybody that served that Australian government won't be serving the people, because they've made an oath foreign. But that being said, they will have the opportunity to change their allegiance also. We're not going to discriminate. But we are going to screen to make sure that we don't get people in there that are undesirable. It's a little bit important. But anyway, look, like I said, send your interest to kingdomofaustralia1@gmail.com. We'll know how many people we've got, and then I'll let you know when we're going to get started.